So basically, I work here as senior lecturer in computer science at Teesside Uni, and my expertise is mainly in the field of AI, machine learning, deep learning, and also natural language processing and large language models. Recently, I've been collaborating in the last few years with quite a few companies here in the Tees Valley, and we had quite a few industry-led project funded. For example, KTP, so Knowledge Transfer Partnership, and I've been leading one, co-leading another one, and now we are involved also in some PhDs working on in collaboration with the companies. So I'm really keen on working with companies and trying to apply the research that I do in the field of AI in a applied project and solving business challenges.
Great. And have you got any examples of that? Like maybe a company that you've been working with that's done like maybe a knowledge transfer partnership?
Yes. So for example, an example of a project is the one that we are doing with the Tapered Plus. It's a company based in Stockton. In this project, I'm collaborating with another academic. His name Farzad, Professor Farzad Raimian. He's a full professor here at Teesside University. He works mainly in the field of digital construction. So together we had this challenge that basically Aman, the CEO of the company, asked us to address. The problem was that they are working on technical drawings, and their issues was to basically automate the technical drawing. So they use a CAD-like system. It's called Trix. Their issue was that when they do this design, it takes a lot of time, and sometimes being all information they take from emails, for example, also attachment, like PDF or anything, image. So they don't have something that allows to automate this process. So they just do manually. They analyze all the email, they take all the data, and then they put this data in the software to design their roof. So insulated roof, which is something which is great, but obviously it's not efficient enough. Since they want to expand their business and they want to grow as a company, they want to have a way to automate this process and allow AI to do, supervised by the human, so with the human in the loop, to do part of the job or almost all the job by taking this parameter, extracting this parameter from the email, the attachment, and then using all this information to input them directly in the software and do the design for them. So basically AI becomes a sort of agent in a sort of very modern way of thinking of AI, which is agentic AI. So an AI that does basically everything that the human would do in the same situation, using these parameters that they extract from the different input data. A lot of challenges there, obviously different type of data, multimodality, which means different categories of data types. And then also the problem that obviously putting these things together and extracting all this information in a correct way, it's something that is absolutely very important, but also very challenging because at the moment, at least, LLM are prone to hallucinate. So the thing is, they need to make everything in order to avoid, we need to make everything in order to avoid that this doesn't happen. So to have a sort of error-free, we can say, system.
Right, okay. And so if a company was wanting to get started with AI at the moment, what would be the first steps that they would need to take?
Well, before I delivered the talk in the event, and I said one thing that I think is very important. The beginning is very important, okay, dreaming big, but it's also important to think just one step at a time. So think small. Think about a single problem that they need to address. Which is the issue? Is a problem of automating repetitive tasks? Is a problem of increasing the efficiency of a specific task? Is trying to remove, identify, for example, anomalies that happens in one of the processes. So they can use a lot of AI there. So the problem is not actually identifying which AI to use. It's more identifying which is the challenge that would change more the business landscape for them. So it's think at a specific problem, one single vision, addressing the research question. Then together we can work through KTP or any other type of involvement with the Teesside Uni to address the problem together and find a solution together.
Okay. And so you mentioned a little bit about the support there. So you mentioned KTPs. Is there any other support that businesses can get from Teesside University?
Absolutely, yes. So KTP or Knowledge Transfer Partnership is one of them. Usually could be a 2 years or 3 years program, or 2 years and a half, program, so like 30 months. And that is actually a little bit of a long-term collaboration that usually is more efficient because having an associate in the middle and being supervised by both the company and the academic, obviously the academic, allows to really get the most out of it. So we can plan in a very long term and complete all the projects. Sometimes we can put a PhD. For example, at the moment, we are trying to have PhDs that can work along with the company, so sort of double supervised from the academic and the company on applied project. For example, the one that I was talking about, there will be now PhD that will take over from there and will also work on something including extended reality, virtual reality, and things like that. So there is definitely, these are already two ways, but there are so many other ways. For example, alternative could be that some of our students can work on the final project or in the internship guided by the company. So double supervision again. And this can usually actually open up the possibility for collaboration. Obviously, when we talk about an internship or a final project, we talk about only 3-month project, so it is not the same scale of a 3-year project of a PhD or 3-4 year project of a PhD or even a KTP that is, again, a more long-lasting collaboration.
Great. Okay. And if a company is, sort of just getting started with AI, what do you find they get surprised about in terms of what AI can do for them?
Well, I believe that the most important part here is that AI can do quite a lot for them. AI now is not just, it was in the recent past, machine learning, for example, which is a subset of AI. So having agents that are able, for example, systems that are able to predict, starting from a data set, predicting something, classifying, regression, clustering. Now AI is more than that. We already went through the period where there was deep learning, and deep learning already changed the way to do machine learning because we can work on identifying patterns, rules, and so we can work with more complex data sets, understanding also the non-linear relationship between data. That's something that obviously changed everything with the neural networks. Recently, with the transformer in 2017, this changed entirely the field. And this allowed the transformer-based architectures, allowed basically to change the way we can use AI for the business. For example, nowadays, all the LLM that we're using, I don't know, ChatGPT, all these large language model, they are all based on transformer-based architecture. So they use the capability of a transformer, of this kind of model, to predict which is in a sentence, which could be the subsequent words. By doing that, they are able to summarize text, they're able to generate ideas starting from text, create content. So it's not just a matter of doing a simple task, but now we are going through the direction, we are not yet there, but we are going towards the direction of really almost general AI. So the idea that we can really generate new content, generate new knowledge that the company doesn't even know to have embedded. So that's something that is changing entirely everything. So also the creative and transformational element of AI is revolutionizing a lot the field.
Yeah, and there's a lot of noise around AI at the moment as well, isn't there? There's a lot of new shiny objects and things like that. You spoke a little bit about it before around having one problem to start with, but is it worth having like a roadmap or something like that as to how you actually want to transform your business digitally, but also using AI as well?
Absolutely, yes. So in that case, I would suggest to, we can say, sort of like trying to divide the problem, the big problem, into the big complex task or the big target in different mini targets, trying to address one by one. And yes, definitely you need a roadmap. You need a roadmap because once you finish to address the first task, you know that maybe the output of that, either in parallel or in a sequence, can help the subsequent task. And then, when you meet all these objectives all together, will allow you to get the general research question, the general answer that will really allow your business to grow and to change radically. I think that at the moment AI is the element that is allowing most of the companies to really transform their business in a way that is in line with what is happening in the world. So, I mean, we are now in a situation where it's not more the idea of, okay, AI is nice to use. We are now at a point where AI is needed in a company. We cannot decide to work without AI. So one thing that is very important, first of all, is starting from the data. So organizing your data, having structured data already, will help a lot. Obviously, we can also deal with unstructured data, but having structured data, having a data lake will allow already to work well with AI, because AI work only when there is data that
Right.
can help, and they represent the input of everything. So that is one important element. And then one thing that you touched before in your question, and I think it's actually very important, that I also underlined during my talk, and also my research is about that, is to use AI responsibly. So one big problem that we have in this moment in the field is that AI are sort of big black boxes. I say big because they're able to do big things. And when you think about big things, you can think about also the problems that are could be associated, and specifically in terms of biases, or in terms of like using in a harmful way AI. And that's something that all the research in AI safety, and even in our department, me also in collaboration with another professor in university, Professor Teanhan, and other collaborators in Cambridge, in Luxembourg, and Trento, we are addressing and we are creating framework to analyze and identify those biases in order one day to possibly trying to mitigate them. And that's something that is to be done in order to really make this AI and LLM used in a responsible way. But we need also to push the companies, so the business that use AI in a way that obviously maybe they are just beginners, obviously, to make it already starting to do it well from the beginning, to do it in a safe way from the beginning. I always say, from great power comes great responsibilities. That's something that
Very
is
true.
Spider-Man, if you remember. So when we have something strong to use, either you use it properly or better not to use it.
Yeah. Okay. And so on that note, I guess in terms of a company that does want to use it responsibly, how can they get in touch with you so that they can, identify a problem that they might want to work on and get some of the support from the university?
So basically, they can definitely contact our business manager. They are always happy to have a conversation. I think the best thing to do actually at the beginning is having just a simple conversation. Just we try to understand which is the challenge. Then after that, we can have like a sequence of other conversation, a little bit more focused and technical, and then we can identify which is the best route to help them. I always believe that having a plan, as you said, having a bigger plan, and having like potential mini task that can be done, it's always a very good way to start.
Right.
And again, identifying those challenges, it's even more important than anything else.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. And that's great.
Thank
And
you,
we'll
thank
wrap
you.
there. Thank you.